What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We had an album review of St. Vincent and her record, Mass Seduction, and this comes courtesy of a suggestion from our longtime patron and friend of the channel, Mr. Tom. We appreciate you, Tom, for
Thanks, Tom. Always, brother.
To us. It was a very fun record to dive into.
It was.
And hey, man, Annie's a Texas gal, just as we are here in Texas, posted up. So that's kind of cool. Before we get into the quick facts and track-by-track review, though, if you like this, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit that big red subscribe button. We upload every single day in a wide variety of genres, eras. There is something for everybody here. And if you would like to maybe have us do a song reaction, album review, you can check out our Patreon link, which is down in the description.
Yeah, the patrons make this thing run. Also, check out our social media below. And we have live streams, 6 o'clock Central Time every Friday night, 1 o'clock Central Time every Wednesday. Come by, check it out, man. Hang out with us. But Trey, let's jump into these quick facts. This is her 5th studio album. Released in October of 2017, went to number 10 in the US, her first top 10 album. Grammy for Best Recording Package and Best Rock Song for its title track, was nominated for the Best Alternative Album. St. Vincent is known as Annie Erin Clark is her real name. Began her career as a member of the Polyphonic Spree. She was also a member of Sufjan Stevens' touring band before forming her own band in 2016. Masseduction has been described as, quote, the culmination of years of writing with songs crafted from voice memos, text messages, and snippets of melodies that came to Clark while traveling the globe. She stated the album focuses on themes of power, sex, drugs, sadness, imperiled relationships, and death. Musically, it's all over the place. Futuristic pop is what a lot of people call it. Metacritic gave it an 88 overall. They put everybody's grades together. The 4th most mentioned album of 2017. All kinds of great year-end lists for her on this album. Billboard number 12, The Guardian number 1, NME number 11, and the New York Times number 1. So quite an acclaimed album from someone that I got to tell you guys going into this old man had never even heard of. So
well, and Annie said this about the record herself. She said her records previous kind of had the same type of archetype. This, she described it as like a dominatrix at a mental institution, which I just thought was so great.
Which kind of like some of the pictures that I'll include in B-roll kind of take that aura on.
She noted this record's about power, the seduction on a big scale and on a little scale, the political seduction, sexual seduction, or the seduction of chemicals and drugs and all that. It's kind of a broad stroke of a record, and she had help here by Jack Antonoff, who was the lead singer of Bleachers and also the guitarist and drummer of Fun, and he has worked and helped produce for artists such as Taylor Swift, Lorde, Carly Rae Jepsen, some of the biggest, like female pop, quote unquote, stars of the 2010s. So a heavy hitter to help on this record.
Yeah, and he co-wrote some songs with her. She wrote everything on her, but she had some co-writers on some of them, Trey. So it's there's a lot of tracks on this album.
Yes, sir. So let's just dive in.
Let's jump into it. To Hang On Me is the opening track.
And you're immediately kind of introduced to the sound that you're going to hear throughout the record, that electro-pop fusion, and some of the themes also are introduced on this, noting the allure of drugs and which is going
and broken relationships.
Exactly, which is going to pop up especially in our next track. But I thought this was a good opener. Not a lot of the tracks on here are overly long, and and I kind of appreciate that. Sometimes I like me a long track here or there, but this was just a fun way to start the record and just get us jumped in and acquainted with what Amy's got.
You had a little trip hop beats, but the subject of it and the lyrics are actually quite serious. It's kind of the aftermath of a breakup for her, and she's kind of reminiscing internally about how that was. So it was one of my favorites on the album. That was a great way to start.
Oh, it was. And now we go to one of the biggest songs on this record. We have Pill.
This song features vocals from Annie's ex-girlfriend, Kara. Also marks a very unusual collaboration for Soundwave, who almost exclusively works with Kendrick Lamar and the rest of Top Dog Entertainment. This is not bad, Trey. Way more upbeat than the previous track. The Pill's chorus sticks in your head. That last minute and a half, this thing just kind of chills out.
Yeah, you actually have a Kamasi Washington, who's one of the greats in jazz right now, with the sax solo at the end. So I thought that was a nice dichotomy from how, as you mentioned, Dad, how up tempo.
Yeah, it was just, I didn't expect that at the end, but yeah, it kind of worked for me.
This was one of my favorites on here, and I just really enjoyed. You had Cara, her ex, was a Victoria's Secret
model. Yeah,
she kind of had a little jingly in the chorus, kind of pills, pills, pills going in it, and it kind of worked with the serious subject matter, because you have a line like, from the chains to the reins to the vein to the brain, anyway there's a day and I'll pay it in pain. And he's noting here that the lure of pills is there to numb yourself from life's troubles, and yet she still recognizes that it's gonna be there's gonna be a due date down the line, so to speak.
There is, and one of the things I like researching newer albums is there's almost always something that the artist has said about it, and that always lends to understanding the song. So here's what she said about it. She said the song wasn't intended as this moral indictment of the state of the pharmaceutical industry in the US. I don't think it works to write finger-wagging songs because it's a condescending to the audience and just a bummer to listen to. This song's super personal for me, a little snapshot of a small period of my life. I was having trouble sleeping. I'd taken a sleeping pill. As I was popping it in my teeth, I sang do, 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 pills, pills, pills every day of the week. Oh, maybe that's so jingly that it's good. Just using that language of advertising. So I thought that was just a cool little insight into that's how some of these come together, man. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll write a song about this. That's going to take us to our next song. The title track,
that's right,
Mass Seduction. She says the title is, quote, a little play on words, mass seduction, seduction of masses, my seduction, and am I being seduced or am I the seducer? Song samples the Japanese bonus track Power Corrupts and includes vocals by Toko Yasada, a member of her touring band. When asked by Pitchfork how this ended up being the title track, she said the thesis for the album very well could be a lyric from the song, I can't turn off what turns me on. She said it was the last song to come together, and it just kind of worked for her.
Yeah.
Jack Antonoff was also on this one helping her out.
Well, I got to shout out her guitar playing here, which was furious coming in, man. I really enjoyed the guitar on this piece with that more electronic music backing on here.
Definitely a dance beat in song.
Yeah, and I like the shout out too in the line, Black Saint, Sinner Lady, Charles Mingus's fantastic record. If you've never listened to that, definitely
for sure
go check that out. But yeah, man, really dug this one, and like the change she had lyrically in here, saying I can't turn it off to I don't want to turn it off. That mass seduction going to that mass destruction concept that is played out on this record as a whole, but especially in this title track. And then that takes us to Sugar Boy, which interestingly enough samples a rip that's going to appear on our next track.
Yeah, it does.
Lost Ageless. So that's kind of cool. She noted that there were similar ideas with the two. She didn't want to have like a long proggy-esque type of song, so she ended up splitting them in two here. But this one was a little busy for my taste personally.
Yeah, there was a lot going on. I thought her guitar work was fantastic. Some of her best guitar work. Basically, the song's sort of about gender norms, but it also seems like having relationships with boys and girls. So there's all kinds of stuff going on, though, instrumentally there. I do agree. The total dance, not my thing either. One of my least favorite songs.
I still kind of appreciated what she was doing. I could feel a little David Byrne influence, which of course she worked with David
in 2012. Yeah,
but it wasn't a hit for me. But I'm sure some of you love it, which is totally cool. But I definitely enjoyed this next track.
So did I.
A lot more. Lost Ageless, which is a cool play on words because you naturally just want to say Angelus.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm glad you said it because half the time I do say this was the second single they released as well. Has a bunch of industrial electro beats, fuzzy guitar, references the lyrics of New York a little bit. Also features contributions from her uncle and aunt, Tuck and Patty Andrus, also known as the long-running jazz duo of Tuck and Patty. Got a nice chorus tray that kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah, the chorus was maybe my favorite part on this album,
yeah,
actually.
A little dancey, but dialed back, not near like the last song.
No, Annie sounds here more kind of hypnotic, enthralling in her delivery, which I quite enjoyed. I like the last, one of the last lines, I try to write you a love song, but it comes out a lament. I just thought that was fantastic, man. Definitely a favorite. Had to add that to the playlist.
Well, I will mention on here, she was asked about the wordplay of Lost Ageless, and she said it's with Hollywood's obsession with trying to stay young.
That's true.
She also uses a cool little trick on here. The repetition of how can anybody have you in the chorus is an example of anaphora, where a phrase is repeated at the beginning of each line. Now up to Happy Birthday Johnny, another ode to Annie's perhaps figurative, perhaps not, dear friend Johnny. Could very well be interpreted as a continuation of St. Vincent's original track, Prince Johnny, featuring the same self-destructive protagonist, but this time directly dealing with the nature of their relationship. She said it's about a mixture of compassion and hopelessness that you feel for a friend who's being very self-destructive, but you know you can't save them, but you can't cast any judgment because you're equally self-destructive. destructive. It's way stripped back from each Trey. It's really good. She really won't ever say whether this is a real person or not a real person, but this is definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, mine too, man.
Okay, good.
I enjoyed, I do love the poppy electronic, but switching it back a little, I think worked with the subject matter here.
Yeah.
I think it's something a lot of people can relate to, where you can see somebody maybe going down a destructive path, but I'm a professional counselor to be just in a
you're almost there, yeah.
And I mean, you can't force people to change, but no matter how much you want to, whether you're a family or a friend like Annie is to Johnny here. So I thought her strength as a lyricist, especially in the first verse, was pretty evident here.
I did too.
And yeah, man, I'm with you, Dad. I just enjoyed this one.
And the next song's a little bit of similarities with it, with the theme a little bit, with Savior. On the surface, it's about experimentation with sexual role play by dressing up as characters that weave power and discipline. However, even though Annie may be able to play these characters as part of a role play, she isn't ultimately able to, quote, save her lover by preventing them from harmful behaviors in real life. This one features a riff that she wrote, a guitar riff she wrote when she was 15. So even though it seems like it's something else, then it goes to the same place almost as Happy Birthday Johnny does. I Can't Save You.
Yeah, and it had a bit of a futuristic sound in it.
It did.
I quite enjoyed the layering on her vocals at different points on here. The word please was very layered and just kind of, fit the song well. Not a favorite of mine, but it did grow on me over time.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to one of my favorites. We had lost Ageless at the 5th track. Now we're to the 8th track, New York. It's the lead single. Pitchfork put it at 169 on the best song of the 2010s. It's a ballad mourning the end of a relationship. It's just her voice and some simple piano. She sings mostly about the locales in the East Village. She said, when I wrote the song New York, I was like, oh, it's taken me 25 years of writing songs, but I feel like it's the first song I wrote where I was like, this could be like someone's favorite song. Like, I get it. I got kind of bored with cleverness. I think that this song goes straight to the heart. It doesn't pull any punches. It doesn't try to be something it's not. It doesn't really say, hey, look over here, look over here. And it only took me 5 albums to write, and as I said, man, it is really good. Just sticks in your head.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites on the record as well. It stands out musically in the best way, as you were mentioning, Dad. And she's noting on here that this person's the only one that can handle her, stand her, forgive her.
Yep.
And man, I just really appreciated it. She also dropped some profanity, the MF.
Yeah, she did. She said that she didn't plan on doing that. It just felt natural,
and that's why I really liked it. It just packed that punch for a song.
Yeah,
that
you're
was
like,
this,
what?
This emotionally dense at many of its points. So shout out to Annie for that on that one. And then we go to the next track. We got Fear the Future, another one that's seeping with some sexual energy, dealing with themes of fear. Very well produced yet again, and though this is kind of middle of the road for me on this record, which I think is more showing the greatness of this album, because it'd be a standout, I think, on a lot of other records. I
agree. I don't have much to add to that. We'll go to Young Lover next. It recounts a moment where someone, as Clark never specified it was actually her, walked in on somebody who had OD'd in a bathtub. It's not bad, Trey. More dance-driven than what I expected, considering the subject matter, but maybe she did that so it wouldn't be too much of a downer.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting here, just again showing how substance abuse can invade a relationship. Annie's worried about her young lover, but her young lover is also quick to point out that Annie has problems herself with substances. So I thought that was a cool technique there that she was able to utilize.
Yeah, now we just go to an instrumental, Dancing with a Ghost. 46 seconds long, nice and chill. The title shows up in the lyrics of the next song, Slow Disco. And this originated from the leftovers of a song meant for the Civil War's Joy Williams, who was in on writing this. They worked on the track but never finished it. It was dug up and reworked for Masseduction. She said it's about how the life you're actually living and the life that you should be living are running parallel, and how one haunts the other. Chilled, layered strings, very nice. Towards the end, it's not a male vocalist coming in. It's St. Vincent actually pitched down to sound like a male. So I thought that was a great part and a very nice touch.
Yeah, I mean, just so melancholic on this one. You can tell, Annie's vocals are very clear, but also pained, and
very much a lot of emotion here, and I think the subject matter of the life you're living and the life you should be living being parallel is something I think most of us struggle with at different times in our life, trying to cross over to like, this is the life I
Yeah.
should be living, or maybe my idealized life, which really probably isn't the life you should
Yeah,
be living.
exactly.
These parallel lives, I thought that was pretty cool.
And she has one of my favorite lines on the song as well. Am I thinking what everybody's thinking? I'm so glad I came, but I can't wait to leave. Again, that push and pull of being where you don't want to. And then we finish off the record with Smoking Section, and this one is actually one of my favorites.
It's one of my favorites as well.
Hey, man, you're stealing all my favorites
Well,
today.
I don't know. I think you're stealing mine.
And man, this works so well as a closer.
The subdued production and somewhat hesitant vocals reflect the uncertainty and nervousness that she carries as she unearths the thoughts of suicide, as well as the substantial pressure she feels in life. Sounds a little bit different, Trey. Pretty good. Ends with "It's not the end," over and over. Chilled, man. Just chilled. I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so heavy talking about
Yeah.
the line here. I'll just read real quick. And sometimes I go to the edge of my roof and think I'll jump just to punish you. And if I should float on the taxis below, no one would notice. No one will know. And yet, as you mentioned, Dad, at the end, outro, it ends on a bit of a more hopeful note. You know,
Yeah.
It's not the end, which I think whenever you have a record that deals so much with substance abuse, broken down relationships, the depression, that I think that was intentional on Annie's part to put that there.
I do too. I think it's telling, I'm not going anywhere, and also I'll be back. This is
Yeah.
not my last album. So that's going to take us to our favorite tracks. I actually have several of them. The
Yeah.
last song, Smoking Section.
One of mine, yeah.
Lost Ageless.
That would also be one of mine.
Slow Disco, Hang On Me, New York, and Happy Birthday, Johnny.
Oh wow, man! Yeah, I'd go throw Pills in there for one you didn't mention, and New York for me. Those would be my four. And now that takes us to our overall score of the record. Dad, what are you feeling on this one?
Well, first off, Tom, thanks for bringing this one to the old guy, because I've never even heard of her, let alone ever listened
Yeah.
to this. I thought it was a fantastic album. You got 13 tracks. You already got 12, because one of them's a 46-second instrumental, and nearly half of them, or I guess maybe half of them did end up on my favorite list. So for me, I'm going to go a very strong 8.25. What do you got?
I love it, man. I'm in that same neighborhood as you, Dad. I'm coming in at an 8.0 for me on this one. I just I think it's great that we got artists like St. Vincent out here that are still, sometimes pop gets a bad rap.
It does.
Though this isn't just a straight,
No, not at all.
cookie-cutter pop
Not
record.
at all.
There's a bunch of stuff going on, musically in here. A lot of people categorize it in the pop realm, and I think sometimes big fans of music just throw aside pop, and that's you miss out on great stuff like this. So
do.
I quite enjoyed the themes on this. Great lyricism, unbelievable guitar work by Annie. She even played bass, the synthesizer on a couple tracks.
True musician, man.
Ooh, and I think that just brings up another fact that the 2010s were really strong for women.
They
overall.
were big time.
You have St. Vincent, Carly Rae Jepsen, recently Phoebe Bridgers, who we have a album review up, Julian Baker, even some of the bigger artists like Lana Del Rey, even Taylor Swift's recent record, Beyonce, Adele, yeah, man,
Yeah,
everybody, really, even in hip hop with SZA and Rhapsody, like women really put in the work this past decade, and I'm looking forward to seeing what St. Vincent comes up with next as well. I want to shout out Tom, as you did, Dad, for bringing this to us. Let us know what you think of Masseduction down in the comment section below, y'all. Dad, appreciate the research on this. And until next time, thanks for watching, y'all. Happy listening, and we will see ya.